Market Monday, it is Sugar Rush week. We've got all the leaks for the part 1 content as well as some egg talk to talk about. Your content schedule, very cut and dry, straight to the point. AK Icons, which released today. Roster Evolutions, which will be Wednesday. Sugar Rush Release 1, which will be Thursday. The reveal for that will also be Thursday morning, a few hours before the content goes live. And then Ultimate Legends. Now getting into the MUT leaks, I guess click off the video if you do not want to see the future champions for Sugar Rush content. Starting out with AKA Icons, and you'll see the theme here is 98 overalls. This is for the following Monday. Marlon Humphrey and Dion Dawkins with a 99 overall vintage LTD of Marlon Humphrey from his AKA card last year. Overall, I think it's actually really good AKA content. Could be the best AKA drop we see in a long time, right? This upcoming Monday, Jason Witten, Jameis Winston. That was the content today. Golden tickets staged pretty much just means they're coming out soon. I would not expect golden tickets to officially be out until at least May. They'll probably put the opportunity packs in the store in the next few weeks, giving people, a few weeks to make the golden tickets, but I would not expect the content to drop until at least after the NFL draft content, which again is late April, so early May seems to be the timeline for golden tickets. Ultimate Legends this Saturday, again, more 98 overalls, Eli Manning and Jason Taylor. So again, looks like moving forward, at least for the next few weeks, we're not going to be going up to that 99 overall champion level. We're staying at the 98 overall level. Now getting into some Easter egg information. And I think I actually probably should scroll up and show the first image first. You know what? Let's do the Easter egg information last. Let's just show the champions. By the way, golden ticket card art. I don't know what this could be. Yeah, let's show the egg information last. So, Sugar Rush low cards, nothing really to talk about there. There's an Alec Ingold, Taylor Rapp. Sugar Rush mid, again, nothing too important there. Getting into your Sugar Rush champs. Now, I think there might be one champ missing. I say that because there's 7 champs, usually 8, right? The even number, 4 legends, 4 current players. But from left to right, Nico Collins, Breece Hall, Foyesade Oluokun, Dominic McNabb. That actually is Haha Clinton Dix, not Charles Woodson. Haha Clinton Dix, Travis Frederick, and Aaron Glenn. So overall, honestly, a bit of a weird, I wouldn't say like S tier, names, but solid cards, right? I'm excited for Dominic McNabb, Breece Hall, Haha Clinton Dix should be really good. Aaron Glenn should be a good card. This looks to be just during a part 1. So we'll probably get 8 champions for part 1, 8 champions for part 2. I say that because the LTDs, there's only 2 of them that they have shown. That is Tyson Campbell and Deshaun Jackson, right? Typically, we get 2 LTDs per a major content drop. So, 2 LTDs, 8 champions for part 1. Looks to be standard, or I guess 7, right? I still think there's one that hasn't been shown. So, 8 champions, 2 LTDs. Makes a lot of sense. And then Ultimate Legend information, Lund Fletcher LTD this Saturday. Ozzie Newsome the following Saturday. But now let's get into eggs. So, first up, let's show the baskets. So the baskets, if you're a little bit confused, and we're going to have a lot more information talking about eggs once content actually goes live in game. But these baskets of sort or packs, this is how you're going to earn the eggs. Now, a lot of these you probably are just going to see in special offers in like bundle toppers, for example, like the Hero Plus baskets, the Egg Champ / LTD basket. Those are probably just going to be in special offers. You're not going to have the chance to earn those through just playing the game, right? Earning the alternate currency. The baskets that we care about, right? The small, the medium, the excellent basket, the extravagant basket, and the mystery basket. I'm assuming excellent basket kind of takes over for the large basket. Those are the ones that will most likely be in the egg store or the Easter store, that is. And we can, of course, open up a set number of them per week. And that's how we're able to earn eggs. So it looks structure-wise, it looks very, very similar to Zero Chill. And it looks like there's going to be, right, champion level Easter players, LTD level Easter players that, again, the eggs, they open up on Easter and there's going to be new cards. Hero Plus baskets, right, and some elite, so some lower tier ones. If we scroll actually down, we have a bit more information too. So there is this stuff. MUTLeaks tweeted out Roster Evolution Egg, right, UL Egg, NFL Honors Egg, Genkai Force Egg, Redux, AK Icons, Free Agency, Team Meteor Egg, Locked 420. If we actually go up to the image that they also tweeted out, going over a bunch of different cool named eggs, right? You have the small, medium, excellent, and extravagant eggs. But then you have a bunch of eggs that go, you know, there's a solar egg, a rising egg, a popular egg, united egg, yearly egg. I don't know, old school egg. I don't know if these are the promo eggs. Again, we're still trying to figure out all this information. Like, old school egg to me, with the colors, seems like it would just be Ultimate Legend. I don't know, the rising egg, potentially roster revolution. But then he also, again, in the Butt Leaks replies, he names off the eggs, like roster revolution egg. So typically when he does that, or when there's actual promo listed eggs, there are actually going to be promo eggs. They're just going to be called that, and they're not in this picture that Muttleaks did upload. The picture that Muttleaks did upload, these are probably just the, I would assume, maybe the part 1, right, player eggs, right? Some of these are going to be 92s, some of these are going to be 98s, some of them are going to be 99s. We'll see. Again, a lot of this is just speculation. We'll have a much clearer picture on Thursday when the content actually comes out in game, right? We see the quick sell amounts for each of these eggs, and we see the whole spectrum of the eggs, right? These might all just be promo eggs, and they're just named, kind of not exactly the promo name. They're just named a little bit weirdly, similar to Zero Chill. So again, I don't know. I'm just throwing shit at a dartboard. We'll have more information, and we'll have a clearer picture on Thursday. But that is about all we have for Easter, going over the overalls there. It does say people are thinking that potentially Sugar Rush goes up to 99 overalls halfway through, because it says 99 overall egg champion opportunity basket. I can promise you that's just a 99 overall champion that's just releasing on Easter Day, which is Sunday, which will be, again, the technical probably part 3 of the promo. But yeah, that's all the leaks we have today. Part 1 looks to be better than the years previously, right? A lot more champions. The champions look to be pretty good. And at this point, right, we gotta fingers crossed that the abilities are really good for the Easter content. Let's now hop into MUT. If you want extended coverage of the market and how I make my coins, subscribe to the Coin Bible exclusively on Team Get Lucky, link in the description. First up, let's go over the AK Icons content that released. We got Jameis Winston and Jason Witten. In my opinion, right, not the best AKA drop. Jameis Winston's cool. I think he's the first card to get Bazooka as an ability for 0 AP. Of course, the LTD is going to be very, very expensive. I think he's going for around 2.5 mil right now if you do want the Jameis Winston. The standard 98 overall will just have all the abilities with +1 AP. The Jason Witten card is interesting. I wish they would have made him faster, but one thing to note on the card, he does get all 32 team chems since he is a team captain. So that has his price up, I would say, a little bit. As for his abilities, Honorary Lineman is built in for 0 AP. He also has Max Security, which is an X Factor for 1 AP, and Pass Pro for 0, which is definitely unique to his card. He's okay. Just a little bit. We have so many good tight ends in the game. I don't know if he has the good spin move, but he's a cool card, right? Because he gets all 32 team chems, so that's kind of been propping up, I would say. I don't know why Jameis Winston is almost 600k. That one I don't understand. But Jason Witten, I would say, he's a decent tight end, and I think the all 32 team chems is the reason that he's going for at least 600k on the auction house. Now getting to the rest of the MUT, just some notable things to talk about. We did see something, and sorry, there's a few sales going off in the background. He's selling some players for my team. You'll see I'm fully liquid, man. I barely get any cards in my binder. You'll notice in the top right, the carrot alternate currency is live in game. Of course, you're not going to be able to earn it. More than likely, Sugar Rush players will quick sell for that alternate currency. You then can take that alternate currency into the Easter store and buy eggs, more Easter players, and stuff like that. Taking a look at the offers here, though, definitely something interesting to note. They definitely do not want the 95 All-Star athletes to stay at around the 180 to 200k mark. They dropped a 30% offer on this 95 plus 4X offer, which you could actually see. This is the standard offer that they released this past Thursday, right around $50. And they dropped it again just at a discount, right? They really wanted to lower the price of 95 overall and 98 overall All-Star athletes, and they definitely have done that. If you go look on the market, you'll see 98 All-Star athletes that were going for around 800k are now, for the most part, all under the 700k mark. If you go look at 95 All-Star athletes, they're going for like the 140 range, whereas they have been going for like 180 to 200k all weekend. They're at 150 right now. It's still a significant drop. You can pretty much build an All-Star Athlete 98 now for around 600k, which again is a 200k decrease from where we were at over the weekend. Even the Part 1 champions are down in price because that offer gives a 77% chance of pulling a champion. So you'll see a lot of the 98 overalls from Part 1, like Taysom Hill, Julian Edelman, right? Randall McDaniel was just 550k yesterday night when I sold him. He's now down to 400k. So the Part 1 champions also have seen a drastic price drop, in my opinion. I wouldn't necessarily recommend to buy these cards right now. I would probably wait until you see the Easter reveals. You'll probably get a lot of panic, right, Wednesday night when they do the teasers on Twitter, Thursday morning when they reveal the cards. And you also can line up the positions-wise. That's why I talked about, or I don't know if I talked about it in the beginning of the video, but position-wise, right, for the champions, we're only getting one center for Sugar Rush. There's a bunch of defensive backs, only one linebacker, no defensive lineman, right? There's one quarterback, one running back, one wide receiver, no tight end. So you can kind of mix and match what positions might drop on Thursday morning when they announce the Easter content officially. One thing I will say, though, with the All-Star Athlete content being really kind of cheap right now, or cheaper than this past weekend, I think it's probably a pretty good time if you've been eyeing the completion set for All-Star Athletes, where, again, you have to collect essentially every single card. You get them back and use sellable and everything. But that, that overall price to kind of just do it initially has come down probably 20-25% today because of that offer. And, I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that Wednesday night or Thursday morning. The market will definitely be volatile, up and down, major swings on those All-Star Athlete cards. So right now is kind of a calm time where the cards are cheaper and they're probably not going to fluctuate up or down too much on the market. So if you've been eyeing the completion set, over the weekend, you were kind of waiting to do it, I think right now might be the best time. It also technically goes away. Does it go away, actually? I don't know if this one goes away because there's no LTDs involved. The objectives might go away this Thursday. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I think right now would be a decent time to finish up that set. But yeah, back on that point, because I myself am going to be looking to pick up the All-Star Athlete cards. I'm going to be waiting probably until Wednesday night and Thursday. You guys saw this past week with how the market reacted, right? When new content got announced, and yes, the All-Star Athlete Part 2 content was amazing, right? God tier, and that's why the market crashed. But the way Sugar Rush is lined up, right, they're 98 overalls. I have more confidence in the cards being good. That the fact that they're 98 overalls rather than being the first 99 overalls. I went back and looked at Madden 24. The first 99 overalls in the game were the NFL Draft promo. There wasn't good 99 overall champions until Theme Team All-Stars, which was a month later. Whereas the last few 98 overalls that were released in-game ended up being pretty good. Now, I will say, Sugar Rush content the past 2 years has not been very good at champion-wise abilities. They always seem to be lacking, but we'll see this Thursday. Either way, there's probably going to be growing panic and uncertainty over the next 72 hours, and probably, you see this All-Star Athlete market come down, especially the Part 2 champs more than the Part 1 champs. The Part 2 champs are probably going to continue to just slowly drop in price. And as well, you can always build the cards, pretty much all the Part 2 champions, for cheaper than they're actually going for on the auction house. So you actually shouldn't be worried or looking at the price of the cards on the market, but rather how much the set cost is, in the next 72 hours if you're looking to pick up All-Star Athlete content. But moving now on to Sugar Rush, of course, 98 overall champions, which means 95 overalls are not confirmed to be involved in the sets. Mutleaks did not tweet out the set requirements, but we can assume that 95 overalls, right, split between any 95s and Sugar Rush 95s are going to be the set requirements to build 98. So taking a look at the 95 overall market right now, it's very similar and almost identical to the 95 overall market last Monday, right? Unfiltered, these cards are going for like 110, 115 at the most. If you actually filter down, right, to promos where 95 overalls are, you'll find, and these are actually some cheap ones. I don't mind buying these at this price, but 95 overalls right now mainly are going for around 100,000 coins. Now, last Monday, I mentioned that I wasn't buying 95 overalls at that 100, 110k price tag, and I can confidently say I'm not buying them either at that price tag going into Sugar Rush. Now, what happened was the market for 95 overalls went down significantly on Tuesday and especially Wednesday of last week. And that's sort of when I got involved in the market. So for me, I'm not going to get involved unless the market comes down a little bit and is more similar to where last week was. I will also mention, and I know it's going to sound like a broken record because I've talked about this the past few weeks, but part 1 investing for promos is always a little bit riskier just because you do not know the price of the part 1 hero, which again is going to be the 95 overall Sugar Rush card. For All-Star Athletes, it was actually a bit cheaper than we were expecting for part 1. They started out at 150k, and by the end of the day, All-Star Athlete 95s were at like 120. But if we go back to the Combine promo, right, 93 overall Combine cards started out at 200k, right? Those were very, very expensive, and 93 overalls for Combine, well, they actually still went up because those cards were God tier, but, you know, you can see the variance on how much a part 1 hero overall goes for. And we actually go back to Zero Chill, the only other content where the cards actually quick sell for an alternate currency. That's one thing too. The 95 overall Sugar Rush cards will quick sell for carrots, so their price might be determined by the value of carrots as well. So, and back then for Zero Chill, if you can remember, the 90 overall Zero Chill cards went for 180k during part 1. And if you actually looked at the 90 overall any market at that time, they were going for, I believe, like 90 to 100k before content came out. They did not move in price because, again, the bulk of the set was the 90 overall Zero Chill cards at the time. So there's no guarantee, right? I know 95 overalls have gone from 90k to 120k essentially the past 3 weeks of content, 3 weeks in the market, but there's no guarantee, right? The Sugar Rush 95s maybe 200,000 coins, right? Like All-Star Athletes this past week, and, you know, 95 overalls don't really move that much. It also definitely is influenced by how good the Sugar Rush cards are, right? All-Star Athletes Part 2. Those 95 All-Star Athlete cards would not have gone up to 200k. 95 overalls would not have gone up to 130k, really, if the All-Star Athlete Part 2 cards weren't that good. So, Sugar Rush-wise, there's a very easy scenario where Sugar Rush 95s are like the cheapest carrot currency in the game, but they're still going for 180k. Team of the Year 98 overall cards themselves are just not that good, and there's a bunch of offers making them very, very cheap on Thursday. And 95 overalls in general don't move much. They'll probably still move a little bit because their demand will still be heightened on Thursday because they will go into the sets, but there is a very, very, like, I see a pathway where 95 overalls, you know, only go from 90k back to 100k. You're not really making anything. Again, it all comes down to how good the Sugar Rush cards are going to be and how that supply is of the 95 overall Sugar Rush cards. But still, with saying all that, right, usually the safest bet, and this doesn't really have to go with even investing at this point, if you just want the Sugar Rush champions on Thursday for cheaper, it's preferred, and I would preface, you should buy the 95 overalls prior to content coming out. Was that actually an 80? Was that 85k for a 95? I think that was Jimmy Graham for 85k. That price tag right there, right, not too bad. But I'm not paying 100k for no damn 95 overall. But that's what I could tell you, right, going into Sugar Rush this Thursday. The best advice I can give, I wouldn't say the profit for investing in 95 overalls is guaranteed by any means this Thursday. And but if you do want the champions Thursday, it's typically cheaper to pre-build than it is just to buy the champion on that said Thursday. But I think that's all for Market Monday. We went over a lot, actually, right? We went over Sugar Rush investing to a degree. Of course, we saw all the eggs and all that sort of stuff. We'll have, of course, a bunch of videos probably starting this weekend on some Easter egg predictions and all those fun things. I will see you guys later this week for that. Until then, peace.